Hi there, welcome back again to the Ivory Tower Collections. Today's video is going to be a real short one, so this will be one of my little ITC shorts, as I like to call them sometimes. So as you can see, possibly from this here, I was out of town this past weekend and attended the 2019 Portland Retro Gaming Expo. It's a wonderful show up in the Northwest. Pretty much one of the de facto retro gaming conventions that you can attend. Lots of vendors, exhibitors, panels, big arcade of all kinds of games. It's an amazing show. But more importantly, it's also a place where you can find some cool new games as well as some pretty cool pickups from time to time. So this video is going to be a quick pickup video just to show some of the items I picked up. So let's get started. There's always classic games to find at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, and especially new releases. So I'm going to start with those first, right here. I picked me up a copy of Robot Rubble. Now this is for the Intellivision and was never officially released back in the day. And this is based off of the latest prototype that was found from Activision for the game and put it in a physical cartridge form with overlays and a box and everything. So it's really cool. I've played the prototype before and it's really awesome to have this in physical form. I also happened to pick up a physical copy of the new release of Baby Pac-Man for the Atari 7800. This is an absolutely wonderful version, and I don't believe that the arcade game has ever gotten a home release before. And the reason for that's pretty simple, you see. That's because in addition to being the standard maze game we're all familiar with, it also has additional sections that you can go down into to build up additional bonus points and things of that sort in a pinball section. And the physical arcade game actually had an actual small pinball table as part of the bottom portion of the arcade game, with the maze portion played up on a top screen that was shown above. So obviously you can see that with that combination or hybrid arcade slash pinball game mechanic, it would be somewhat difficult to replicate that on a home console. But yet the master himself, known as Pac-Man Plus, or as we also like to call him, the 7800 programming wizard, Bob DeCrescenzo actually programmed this. And so yeah, it was awesome to finally be able to get a physical copy of this. I'd played the various work in progress ROMs before, and in addition, I actually have one of Bob's limited release physical carts that he made and distributed not too long after he completed the game. This was as a partial payment for some services I did to fix some stuff for him. So very cool. Additionally, I don't know if it shows up on camera or not, but I've got Bob's signature along the top here, although it looks like parts of it have already faded off. I'm not sure how that could have happened, but oh well. But it's there, so very cool. Another awesome release at this year's Portland Retro Gaming Expo was a 2600 homebrew known as Dragon's Descent. Programmed by Todd. I'm going to probably butcher this last name, so I will apologize, but it was programmed by Todd Formansky, it looks like. And I've only played a little bit of it. I did play some of the work in progress of this as well when it was being developed. Essentially, your dragon, you can shoot left to right, and it's essentially an exploration type game. So you go through the labyrinth of mazes, and you find keys and power-ups and things of that sort, and you basically dodge and avoid all the bad guys. And as you can somewhat see down here in this bottom screenshot perhaps, you'll also encounter mini bosses along the way. So it's a very cool 2600 homebrew, and when I saw that it was being released, I had to pick up a physical copy of this as well. And then of course, nothing is complete at a show like this without some of the more anticipated releases, and in this case it is the redone version of Wizard of War, known as Wizard of War Arcade, and well, here it's called Galagon, but I'm sure you can get an idea of what it's really based off of. Programmed and made by Champ Games, and these are just, well, they're just amazing. The same guy, John Champeau, I believe is how he pronounces his last name, also did Mappy as well, which I did a brief video some time ago on, and Scramble as well, I believe. So just some amazing work. And especially when you see the graphics and gameplay that was able to be pulled off. In the case of Wizard of War, if you've got one of the Atari Vox modules, which I have the Atari Vox Plus, which sadly has some issues with the 7800, but if you have one of the Atari Vox modules and you plug it in, you'll get full speech from the arcade as well when playing this game. It's really, really cool. And then Galagon, of course, which is a arcade remake of Galaga, as I always called it, Galaga, sorry. It has been ported to the 2600, and this is just absolutely amazing to see in person with all the different sprites and the title screen the way it looks. It's a very cool game, and obviously at some point in time I'll do separate videos on the two of these. 1,000 other people will as well, but in time I'll get to these and I'll show them in more detail. But also these have both been signed as well by the programmer. Very cool, very glad to have gotten these. I was also lucky enough to be able to pick up physical copies of two more Intellivision releases from Electronite, which is AF for Anthropomorphic Force and the game TNT Cowboy. Now, I already have these in digital form working on my LTO cartridge, but at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, they had physical copies of the games being released for sale. Just the cartridges by themselves. There wasn't anything else, but still, very glad to have these in a physical form of some sort. I was also able to find me a copy of, or a physical cartridge for Picnic Paranoia for the Texas Instruments TI-99 4A. Very cool. One I didn't have, so just kind of poked around and looked, and Atari Soft releases were always pretty impressive on the TI, so glad to have gotten this. While we're on the subject of the TI, I also managed to pick up one of these from the Brewing Academy booth. And specifically, it's the TI-99 4A Final Grom 99 cartridge. So in a nutshell, just to basically surmise what this is it's an SD-based multi-cartridge flash cartridge for the TI-99. So I'd been after I actually had played around with one of these, I think last year, and had been very curious about it. And so this year I decided to finally bite the bullet and pick one up for myself. So that'll be really cool to have as well for the TI. Another game I picked up is one that I actually already had, but I didn't have it in good shape. And it is, of course, the original release of Shenmue for the Dreamcast. Now there is a bit of cracking here on the top of the case, but otherwise, aside from that, it's all here, and all the discs are in immaculate condition. Just absolutely beautiful. Looks like it still has a security tag sticker hiding in there as well from back in the day. Manual's all here, and so all the discs are here, all three of the main game discs, in addition to the Passport disc, and as well as the booklet for that. Yes, it did not set me back much at all. I was very glad to find this and had been looking for one of these. Again, I own the game already, but the one I have is in separate jewel cases. It's not together in the double quad case like this that it came in. And the discs themselves, while they look okay and they work fine, they've actually got a movie rental place stickers over the labels themselves, which are impossible to remove without actually tearing up the artwork on the CDs. So again, it was really awesome to be able to finally have this for my Dreamcast collection in good shape. Now, one of the more interesting aspects to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo this year was something that I hadn't really planned on shopping for, but was actually very pleasantly surprised to see. And it was big box PC games. As you know, I've done a video before on some of my big box PC stuff, and was able to pick up an actual version of the actual original Sierra online release for Gold Rush, as well as a copy of Interplay's Star Trek 25th Anniversary. And as near as I can tell from what I've looked inside, they are complete. Gold Rush has the original map and everything inside of it, so very cool. And Star Trek has all 11 of the 3.5-inch diskettes that this particular one comes with. So just amazing. And they really were very affordable. Along with more big box releases, well, they're not really huge big boxes, they're smaller boxes, but I was able to find copies of Beyond Good and Evil and Unreal 2: The Awakening. Now, Beyond Good and Evil is just an excellent adventure game, 3D third-person adventure game, but it's an excellent game, lots of fun. Unreal 2: The Awakening is a real fun first-person shooter, and always a blast on this one. The graphics for it at the time were really quite impressive. And the other amazing thing about the two of these, in addition to the low price that I got them for, is the fact that they are still sealed. They have never been opened up on the tops and bottom. So very cool to get those. And then I ended up getting yet another big box PC release, and it is a copy of Doom 3 for the PC. So this one has been opened, but this too was gotten for a very good price. Ignore that. That's one of the original price stickers from when it was new back in the day. So I didn't pay near that price for it. And as near as I can tell, it is also fully complete. So, you know, maybe not the best Doom game ever. I would say that the BFG edition, which was released much later on, is a more complete game. But it's still cool to have the physical release of the original Doom 3 when it was put out. So, awesome. And then the last thing to show may not even fit in the camera frame here. And it's, well, I'm just going to put it in here. There it is. Well, what I can show of it, I suppose. It is, as you might be able to guess from looking at it, it is a 1/16 scale of a Tempest arcade cabinet. Stands roughly 12 inches tall. And it is pretty complete in almost every way that you can think of for a miniature arcade to be. It even has a light-up marquee. The cabinet itself replicates the original arcade pretty much dead on. And you have to be honest, the Tempest cabinet was a pretty unique cabinet for the time. It has, you know, rotary control to play the game. And yes, it does actually have the full playing arcade game in it. And it's officially licensed by Atari. So these are very, very cool. They do set back some money, but I think for the quality, it's very respectable, and I think the money is worth it. I'll definitely do a separate video on this not too far from now, because I've shown a couple of other teaser pictures of this previously on Facebook and had some people ask about it, so I'll do a more in-depth video on this very soon. But yes, very cool. And that's pretty much all of my pickups from the Portland Retro Gaming Expo itself. Now, there are a few additional things that arrived either while I was out of town or that I received just before that are also pretty cool that I thought I would also show. One of them is that not too long before I left for Portland, I was able to get my collector's edition version of Psychonauts from Limited Run Games. And this is really cool. I mean, I like the game anyway, but this is the PS4 version release. It's not upscaled. It's basically the PS2 version just put onto a physical disc with the emulation and everything built into it. But it's got the soundtrack, it's got, you know, like a poster of the artwork, it's got this cool box it sits in, which of course looks like one of the doors from the characters that they open up. You have to play the game to understand, but you have to trust me on that. And of course it came with a physical copy of the game on a disc, in a normal DVD case, as well as in a steelbook. And then this item just came in the mail today. Again, I did not pick this up from Portland, but I had the opportunity to order this very recently from off of Facebook, and specifically from Binary Star Software. And it is exactly what the box implies. It is a physical version of the Vectrex test cartridge. There's a small manual on how to use it and what it does. But it's not really a game per se. It's pretty much exactly what it says it is. It's a test cartridge. You put it into a Vectrex and it goes through some basic routines to test things, make adjustments to the video. And it also has a number of different ways to test different controller options. In addition to the normal Vectrex controllers, you can also adjust, or not adjust, but test for spinner controllers and like the Atari driving controller, things of that sort. So it has been modified a little bit to be able to do that, and that's very cool. So yeah, this actually had just arrived today from Binary Star, and that will go nicely with the rest of my Vectrex items that I have. Nice. And that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Again, I don't normally do these because they don't get too many views, and lots of other people do similar videos, and you know, it can be more like bragging, I suppose. I don't mean it that way in this particular case. The main reason for doing this video is just to show you some of the cool things you can pick up at conventions like this, and why it's important to provide support for a convention. Hopefully you have one in your area that you can attend. If you're at all interested in the hobby, going to conventions and expos like this is a great way to pick up some new games, as well as meet with like-minded individuals who are also as enthusiastic about it as hopefully you are, and myself. And also to hopefully find stuff for your own collection that maybe you don't have and have been looking for, or that you didn't even know you needed. So, I'll catch you guys next time, and thanks for watching. Appreciate it.